So guys, this tutorial is on how to draft the basic bodies. So here I'll be needing my tape measure. We'll be using a marker, the ruler, and then the measurements we are using the bust 35 inches, the bust point 9.5, halfway 17, and all that. So now let's get started in drafting the basic bodies. So this is going to be our base, okay? So that is where the shoulder is starting from. So now I'll be marking my shoulder measurements, which the shoulder measurement we are working with here is 14.5, which I'll be dividing by 2, so that's 7.25. so I'll be marking it right there, 7.25. From the base I'll be coming down by 1 inch. Our shoulder is not totally straight, so we'll be slanting it by 1.5. And again I'll be marking my armhole. So to get your armhole, now I'll be dropping a formula on how to get that. Okay, so I'll connect that right from the base to the armhole length. Okay, so having done that, I'll just draw out a square like that. This is going to serve as a guide to draw our armhole curve. Okay, so that's all about that. So now I'll start marking out my vertical measurement, which is the bust point, the waist measurement, and my top length, or the M, wherever your top or the bodice is going to stop. Okay, so I'll just mark it out that way. So then I'll connect everything together. So this is what you should have after joining your lines together. So now the next thing is marking our bust span. So marking the bust span now is I'm going to start marking it from the center front, which the bust span I'm working with here is going to be 3.5. So to get your bust span, you can either measure it on yourself or on your client, or you divide your bust by 8, then minus 1. I'll be putting up the formula on the screen if you don't get it that way. Okay, so you mark it that way, and you mark 0.5 inch on both sides of the waist, then come down by 0.5 from the bust point that way. Can you see that? And then come up from the M line or the hip line, come up by 1.5. okay, so after doing this, now you are going to be connecting from the bust, from your mark on the bust point towards that place, like a triangle. Okay, so you are going to be connecting it all around like that. So just watch if you don't understand that. Okay guys, so can you see that now? So now I'll start inserting my measurements. So the bust measurements, the waist, and the hip measurements. So for the bust now, after dividing it by 4, I got 8.75, which I'll be marking right there. Okay, so for the waist, I got 6.75 after dividing by 4. So I'll be measuring my dart. So whatever I have there, I'll be adding it to what I got after dividing it by 4, which will be giving us 7.75. So I mark that right there. Okay, So now for the hip, after dividing it by 4, I got 9.8, which I'll be marking right there. Okay, so after doing all these, guys, I'll be connecting them together like that. So the bust, I'll be connecting from the armhole, so from the armhole to the waist, then to the bust, from bust to the waist, and then from your waist to the hip. Okay, so this is what you should have after connecting. Okay, so now to our armhole, I'll be measuring what we have on our armhole, and I'll be marking out the midpoint. So another way to get your midpoint is to mark whatever we have there. So I'm sorry, to just measure whatever you have there and then fold your tape measure into 2 just to get the midpoint. Okay, so after doing that, on the midpoint, you come in by 0.5. So after coming in by 0.5, you place your curve and then draw out your armhole curve, just like so. So this is what you should have for your armhole. Okay, so now I'll be going ahead to draw out my neck. Okay, so I'll be marking 3 inches on the width and the 3 inches for the depth of the neck. So that's more like the basic neckline. Okay, so then I'll be drawing out my neck. So after that, I'll be drawing my slant, my shoulder slant. I'll be connecting that to my neck that way. So after doing all this is what you should have for your basic bodice. Okay, for the hemline now, what you can do here again is, if you don't want it to look too pointy or too sharpy, you can come up by 1.5 or 2 inches, but for this tutorial I'll be coming up by 2 inches. Okay, and then go ahead and give it a nice curve. This is just to avoid the hemline looking too sharpy or anything, to avoid a sharpy edge. So just give it a nice curve that way. Okay, so this is what you have. Now for the back, I'll just be placing my front block. Yeah, my front basic bodice, I'll just be placing it on another pattern paper, and I'll be marking my points out just like you're seeing in the video. So I'll be marking it all out and then connect everything together. Okay, so now I have my bust points, my waist and my hip. Then I'll be going ahead to mark my zip allowance. So basically the difference between the front and the back pattern is just the zip allowance, the neckline and the armhole. So yeah, so the armhole is not supposed to be as deep as that of the front. Okay, so I'll just be correcting all that. Yeah, so now just watch the video, just focus on the video, and trust me, you get everything. So that's the zip allowance I'm trying to mark out. Okay, so I'm still doing the same thing, marking out my shoulder measurement of 7.25. Okay, it's still the same process, so I don't need to explain this all over again. So just watch the video for the little difference between the front and the back pattern. Okay, so can you see I'm still using my 3 inches width? So while I'll be using for the depth, I'm using 1 inch. Yeah, I'm using 1 inch for the back. So I'll be drawing out my neck line. Okay, so I'll be going ahead to connect my shoulder slants. Yeah, so going in by 0.5, we are not doing that here at the back, so we are just going to be connecting it straight, no going in. We are not going in by 0.5 just like we did for the front. We are not going to be doing that. Okay, so that's my bust, my waist measurements, and my hip measurements. Okay, so like I said, it's still the same process as the front, so just watch the video. Okay, so the difference here again now is I'll be coming down by 1 inch instead of 0.5, just like we did in front, and I'll be coming up by 1.5. That's still the same as what I did in front. Okay, so the only difference is instead of coming down by 0.5 from the bust line, I came down by 1 inch for the back. Okay, so just watch the video for better understanding. Okay, so can you see the way I'm connecting my armhole? Can you see that? So that is all. Like I did in front, I'll be going up by 2 inches. Okay, so for this part now, whatever it is that you used for the front, that's exactly what you are going to be using for the back. If you use 2 inches for the front, then you should use 2 inches for the back. If you use 1.5, then you use 1.5 for the back. It has to be the same thing. If not, you are going to have an unequal side by the time you are joining your fabric. Okay, so this is me labeling my zip allowance. Okay, so this is all about drafting the basic bodice, and this is what both front and back basic bodice looks like. Okay, so for that curved part, I won't be cutting it out, though it's going to be like so, just in case I want to use the pattern for a style that doesn't require me to cut that part out, so I'll just be leaving it that way. Okay, so this is all about our basic body. So if you find this tutorial helpful, so kindly subscribe and click the like button. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in my next video. Love you.